Ram Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Rajajana Nandana Yashoda Nandana Rajajana Nandana Yamuna Tira Panchari Yamuna Tira Panchari Jaya Radha Madhava Sundar Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Sundar Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Sundar Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Sundar Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Yashodanandana Brajajana Randana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jundavihar Jaya Radha Madhava Jundavihari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavalabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandan Yashoda Nandan Rajanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Vishnu Parbraham Sarvajagachaya Satasata Sri Srimad. His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Prabhupada Ji, Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON Founder Jaya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Parbraham Sarvajagachaya Satasata Sri Srimad. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Pramanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter number 11, titled The Perfect Society for Social Classes. Text number 31. Kraya Swabhava Vihito Nirnam Dharmo Yuge Yuge Veda Dirigbi Smrito Rajan Pretya Cheha Cha Sharamakrit Kraya Swabhava Vihito Nirnam Dharmo Yuge Yuge Vedadrigbiya Smrito Rajan Preta Cheha Chas Sharmakrit Prayasvabhava Vihito Nirnam Dharmo Yuge Yuge Vedadrigbiya Smrito Rajan Kretya Cheha Chasharmakrit Praya, generally. Swabhava Vihita, prescribed according to one's material modes of nature. Niranam, of human society. Dharma, the occupational duty. Yuge Yuge, in every age. Veda Dirgbi, by brahmanas well conversant in the Vedic knowledge. Smrta, recognized. Rajan, O king. Pretya, after death. Cha, also. Iha, here in this body. Cha, also. Sharmakrit, auspicious. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear King, Brahmanas well conversant in Vedic knowledge have given their verdict that in every age, yuga, the conduct of different sections of people according to their material modes of nature is auspicious both in this life and after death. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna Para Dharmat Swanushita. It is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though they may be faulty, than another's duties. The Antyajas, the men of lower classes, are accustomed to stealing, drinking, and illicit sex, but that is not considered sinful. For example, if a tiger kills a man, that is not sinful. But if a man kills another man, this is considered sinful, and the killer is hanged. What is a daily affair among the animals is a sinful act in human society. Thus, according to the symptoms of higher and lower sections of society, there are different varieties of occupational duties. According to the experts in Vedic knowledge, these duties are prescribed in terms of the age concerned. Om Egina Termandasya Ginanjana Shlakaya Chakshamatamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are nearing the end of this chapter. Only a few more verses left to go, where uh, it has been described about the um, four varnas, or the different social classes in a varnashram society, or more generally in a human society. We understand that whether one is following the system as it is meant to be practiced or not, they are always, uh, those who are the intelligent class, those who are the administrative class, those who are the productive class, and those who are the laboring class. And then also, of course, we heard in the previous verse, those who do not fit into those categories. And it is being described in this verse that according to the modes of material nature, there is different conduct in different sections of the society. We understand that the entire world is moving under the gunas, goodness, passion, and ignorance. Uh, that everything falls into combinations of these modes, including the different members of human society. And according to the mode that predominates in one's life, one is given certain prescribed duties that one should follow instead of trying to make everybody equal on the platform, that anybody can do uh, what others can do. If one takes a person who is, just interested in say working or art or something like that, and try to teach them the Vedanta Sutras. Uh, Neither will it be very effective, and they won't necessarily be very interested in it anyway. But if we take somebody who is of a scholarly and philosophical disposition, then you can teach them the Vedanta Sutras, and they will, uh, if they're hearing from the correct person, be able to get the correct import of that knowledge. So it is said in Bhagavad Gita, as Prabhupada quotes, Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna Paradharmat Swanushitat, that one should perform one's swadharma, one's own duties, uh, even if uh, there might be some discrepancy there, rather than perform another's duties. We hear about the uh, glories of the Brahminical class, for example, but if one does not have that disposition, it is not necessary that one performs those duties. We see even in Bhagavad Gita itself, uh, Arjuna wanted to give up his duties as a Kshatriya and perform the duties of a mendicant, which is more traditionally associated with the Brahminical class. So if, taken from the point of view of a strict, caste hierarchy, um, Arjuna would have been giving up, second class for first class. But that is not the way that it is understood, and not the way that Krishna presents it in the Bhagavad Gita. And it's not the way that it is presented in Bhagavatam either. That because Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he should perform the duties of a Kshatriya, which is to fight, and while fighting, to remember Krishna. So every class has their own prescribed duties. The Brahmanas have their uh, certain prescribed duties. They study the Shastras, teach others the Shastras, uh, worship the deities and teach others to worship the deities, uh, and then give and receive charity. The Kshatriyas, of course, also have their own duties. They fight, they rule over the others, they collect taxes. Uh, the Vaishyas, of course, engage in commerce and cow protection. The Shudras follow the guidance of the three higher classes and assist them in their duties. Then, as we read yesterday, even the what are today called Panchma, those who are outside the fourfold divisions of the caste, they also have their own customs. Uh, so uh, everything is arranged such that the different elements of human society should cooperate together. Many times in the Western conception, especially, and even today, even around the world, the different parts of society are thought to be in competition with one another. There is management against the workers, the rich against the poor, etc. I recall that when I was in graduate school, the graduate students in the physics department were having, some trouble with how the some of the administration was being run in the department. So we worked some with the Graduate Student Union, TUGSA, the Temple University Graduate Students Association. It was a labor union, and they helped us do some. It was a whole drama, but uh, about contracts and things. That's a whole other story. But once we got involved with them, they tried to agitate, like, oh, you might have good relationships or semi-good relationships with your professors, and the administration of the office, but they're the management and you're the workers, so therefore you are naturally inimical to each other. This is the conception, that society is conflict of everyone against everyone. But the Vedic conception, the Shastra conception, is actually one of cooperation. Uh, that all of the different facets of society work together to form their duties and to uh, reach the various necessities of life, and ultimately to serve Krishna. The Everyone has their own duties and customs, and uh, different ways of acting with each other. Of course, this eventually devolved into the caste system uh, that was uh, mm, based on birth and, strictly, mm, what would I say, strictly hierarchical or strictly oppressive. But, previous to this conception, which was there and which was exacerbated also during the colonial British era, everyone worked together to, and everyone had their own ways of doing things. Even the Panchma class, or the Dalit class, as they are sometimes called, uh, the untouchables, were not actually uh, completely mm, out of the religious system. When outside observers saw, their that, oh, they weren't going into the temple or things like that, they say, oh, they are excluded from the religious sector of society. But no, even they had their own, religious uh, ways of doing things. They have their own customs. As Prabhupada points out in this purport, that the different sections of society, including the Antyajas, uh, have their uh, own occupational duties. And we should consider uh, these, occupational duties when we are mm, analyzing, I guess you could say, the society. He gives the example that a if a man kills another man, then that is considered murder, and the killer is generally in many societies given the death penalty. But if a tiger kills a man, then that is just what it is. And he gives the statement that, if not considered in context, uh, might be, a bit shocking or surprising. He says the Antyajas, the men of the lower castes, are accustomed to stealing, drinking, and illicit sex, but that is not considered sinful. Uh, we shouldn't think that, when we read this, that there are no sinful reactions for these activities if one happens to be a part of this group of people. As it says, in the purport, uh, in the previous verse, in 30, text 30, that these people do not recognize such conduct as sinful among themselves. Even when Prabhupada came to the Western world, he discussed, for example, that different societal issues were there as a reaction for eating meat or other sinful activities. So that we should understand that whenever one engages in sinful activities, there is a reaction. But we can also understand that it is not possible to necessarily bring somebody up to the platform of a perfect Paramahamsa or even a perfect Brahmana immediately. So the Vedic society is arranged to gradually okay. elevate one uh, to higher platforms and ultimately to the highest platform of Krishna consciousness. Both systems are there. There's either the quick system of immediately taking up devotional service, of immediately taking fully to the process of Krishna consciousness, and that is the recommended process. But even for those who do not wish to take up that process, there is the slower process, which is gradual purification. And the various hereditary customs, to use Prabhupada's terminology from the last verse, are there uh, to gradually uh, elevate one to higher platforms of life. Uh, in terms of that, there might be, these, drinking, illicit sex, these different things, but done in a somewhat regulated way, in order that it is not just indulging the senses with total abandon. The kind of emblematic example of this is the uh, Mamsa ritual. Mum, of course, means me, and Sa means he. This is the uh, ritual where one takes a lower animal, where that those classes that are accustomed to eating meat take some animal, such as a goat or something like that, and sacrifices it, uh, generally to a goddess like Kali, and uh, says explicitly that um, This life I am killing you, and then in a future life you will kill me. Uh, and then is able to take and eat the meat to satisfy the tongue. So it is allowed, but the sinful reaction is still there. And it is better than running slaughterhouses where there is no regulation at all concerning uh, the uh, way that the animals are killed or what animals are killed or the proportion in what in of the animals that are killed. Uh, so the Vedic culture has something for everybody. Krishna never forgets any living entity. He is always wanting the living entities to come back to practice full Krishna consciousness. Uh, that if one doesn't want to do it the fast way, then one can do it in the slower way. Uh, and even if one is outside, what is considered the Vedic society or the traditional, society that is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is still uh, the chance to advance in some way in Krishna consciousness. It is described, I believe it is in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary to the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that when there is some discrepancy to the level of dharma, to whatever dharma those on any corner of the earth have accepted onto themselves, when there's some discrepancy, Krishna sends his empowered representatives, Shakti avatars, in order to correct the discrepancies uh, that are present in that society. The examples uh, that are given often, by Srila Prabhupada and others, are Jesus and Muhammad, who came to preach God consciousness according to the level that was there at the time. You see, for example, in the life of Jesus, that the Dharma that the uh, Jewish population had accepted, there was discrepancies there. It was taken up by the Pharisees and used simply as a means to control the populace and to puff up their own position and material well-being. So, Jesus came and we're all familiar with the story. He preached God consciousness to the level that they could understand. So the process of Krishna consciousness is always there uh, in all societies and in all uh, classes of people. Uh, there's an opportunity to advance in Krishna consciousness in whatever situation. There's no material impediment. And of course, today there is the greatest chance uh, available, which is Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, the chanting, of Hare Krishna, the is the quickest way to go back to Godhead, especially in this age of Kali. And uh, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, who is the Sinapati Bhakta, the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading and continuing to spread all over the world. It's not that there is just some form of uh, limited Krishna consciousness that one can find here and there, but the highest stage of pure Krishna consciousness is spreading everywhere uh, across the globe for those that wish to take it up. So it is up to us to figure out to increase this spreading of the Sankirtan movement of Bhakti Yoga. Uh, and, just like Vedic society has something for everyone, has something that mm, no matter what one's material conditioning, one can engage in. We should also uh, spread the Krishna consciousness movement so much and in such a varied way that it is inescapable. That is our goal, actually, that and no matter what facet of life one is in, the Krishna consciousness movement should be uh, inescapable. You can't walk outside without having some contact with Krishna. Whether that is walking down the street and hearing the holy names, or you know, scientific preaching, or arts, or anything. There's no limit actually to the way that we can serve Krishna. And even, this, one could say, establishing, if you want to use that language, or pushing on the Varnashram system is also part of this mission. Uh, and that is, there's, debates always in our society over how much we should stress Varnashram versus other forms of preaching. My kind of view on it is Varnashram can also be a source of preaching, right? Some people aren't interested in the philosophy to start with, or these different, uh, you know, different forms of preaching don't appeal to everybody, but they might be interested in a simple way of life where they can work in a way in harmony with others, which is the Van Ashram system. So then people uh, can come to Krishna consciousness through Van Ashram. And some people can come to Krishna consciousness, through prasadam or through scientific preaching or through any of these things. Which means, of course, that some devotees will be focused on book distribution. Some will be focused on prasadam distribution. Some will be focused on varnashram. Some will be focused on, you know, different areas of the preaching movement. But it is all, whether one is engaged preaching or engaging personally, in whatever form of Krishna consciousness or whatever duties materially one may uh, engage in, the goal is to go back to Godhead, one way or another. It is highly recommended that one do it quickly. Uh, but, even if one can only practice at a way to make slower advancements, it is still better than nothing. Uh, so, yeah, I am running out of things to say. So I will finish up. Just, I guess, the end point of the class is that we should recognize that uh, there are a lot of ways to bring people to Krishna, to have them engage in devotional service, including the whatever level of the Varnashram system we are able to implement these days, uh, and that ultimately, whether one is acting in whatever Varna or ashram one is situated in, the point is always Krishna consciousness. So I will end here rather than ramble on some more. We have about 20 minutes left in case there are any comments or questions. All right.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol, Dr. Prem Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guru. Just quickly, I just thought in that in the this echo. I don't know. Some tech person can maybe try to look at why all the questions and comments are echoed. but this on this last point you were making. I just remember that quote Prabhupada said that I made up all these things just to keep you occupied, but like the main thing is chanting Hare Krishna. But I've created all these activities because the restless minds of my disciples.
Yeah, so the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also said that what saves us is the chanting of Hare Krishna. All other activities, even all other devotional service, is helpful to that process. But what actually elevates us is the chanting program. All right. Anything else?
We have lots of time, so I feel like I should say something.
Yes, Prabhu.
Don't want to end too early. First of all, I think it is possible to cancel out the echo if you mute your mic while people are speaking.
Yeah, sure.
Hare Krishna. Hey, no echo. How about that? Okay. I don't have any questions I can think of. I actually don't really have any comments, but I have a collection of Srila Prabhupada's comments, which are actually much better than my comments. I'll read a little bit here. There, let's see. This is a conversation took place. We're actually a morning walk, and I was actually there. Mayapur, 1976, February 9th. And interesting points made. I'm going to just skip to what is particularly pertinent. The Srila Prabhupada says, in response to a comment by Tamal Krishna, who was speaking a little bit about the position of women in society and so on, and talking about implementing Varnashram. Srila Prabhupada says ISKCON is not going to be a social reformer. But as far as possible, we can help. Our main business is how to make everyone Krishna conscious. That is our business. We cannot take up Varnashram, but if possible, we can take up all the system of Varnashram. Tamal Krishna says, if Varnashram is neglected, then how can there be proper functioning of society? Srila Prabhupada said, no, if the society chants Hare Krishna seriously, then it is all right. Never mind whatever is done. It doesn't matter. Papi tapi jata shilo harinama udharilo. This is the power of Hari Sankirtan. If one is absorbed in Krishna consciousness, so all benefit is there. So long in the bodily concept of life, we require this Varnashram Dharma. Otherwise, there is no necessity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have read in the 8th chapter, Madhya Lila, talk between Ramananda Roy and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, perfectional life, how it begins. This question was raised by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Ramananda replied, it begins with the Varnashrama Dharma, regulated social life. Tamal Krishna says he rejected that. Srila Prabhupada says, not rejected. Yes, it is not very important. Eho bahya. This is external. Age kaha'ar. If you know something more. So the Varnashram Dharma is a good help, undoubtedly. But it is not important for Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, how could I start this movement in the Western country? There was no Varnashram Dharma. But that did not hamper my movement. Now people are surprised how these people have become such great devotees. So it was not based on Varnashram Dharma. No, because the whole movement is spiritual. It starts from the spiritual platform, Aham Brahmasmi, Jivera Swarupa Hai Nitya Krishna Das. Trying to decide how much of this I should bother to read. We have time. What the heck? I'll go through the whole thing. So, Srila Prabhupada says, now, just like here is a gap. So you can go by the bridge. And if you can jump over, that is also going. So to become Krishna conscious means to jump over to the spiritual platform immediately. And this Varnashram Dharma, sannyas, Varna Tyaga, Karma Tyaga, these are different steps only. But if you become Krishna conscious, seriously, then you jump over all these steps. You go immediately. That lift means elevator. That lift and the staircase. By staircase, you go step by step. By lift, you can go immediately, faster. And then Hridayananda Maharaj mentions the women that although they're not married, they're serving Krishna. And Srila Prabhupada says, yes, Shriyo Shudra Tata Vaishyas. It's quoting from the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, O son of Pratad, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, as well as Shudras, can approach the supreme destination. So Srila Prabhupada says this Striya, generally they take it. Even she is prostitute, Striya, Tepi yanti param gatim. They can also go back to home, back to Godhead. Mam hi parta. If he takes Krishna very seriously, then everything is possible. No impediment. Ahaitukya pratiyata. Krishna, devotional service is so strong that it cannot be checked by any material impediments. The Smartas, they are thinking like that. How these Malechas and Yavanas can become Brahmana. But they do not know that by Krishna consciousness, one can jump over. Mayam etam tarantite daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Srila Prabhupada says, Maya is very strong, therefore there are gradual processes. Varnashrama dharma, karma tyaga. This, that, so many things, pious activities, rituals. But this is the process, step by step, to cross over Maya. But Krishna said, Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Anyone who surrenders to Krishna sincerely, immediately he crosses over. As Krishna says in another place, Aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayami. I'll do immediately. So Maya means papa. Unless one is sinful, he cannot be in Maya. So if one surrenders, then he immediately crosses over Maya. So these Smarta Brahmanas, they consider this thing. They are thinking how a person born in other families, they can become Brahmana. Then you come to Gita's instruction, Guna Karma Vibhagashaha. According to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the four divisions of human society were created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. And Narada Muni also says that one must be qualified, not the birth, just like this Mulik. And we had the same Gotra, but the marriage cannot take place within the same family. Anyway, that's the significant portion of that morning walk conversation. We still have 6 minutes, so there is another discussion here. This is, oh my goodness. This is lengthy. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's oh my goodness. It's really lengthy. Trying to find out where this took place. Oh my goodness. This is a room conversation. 1977 in February in Mayapur. I was, in this case also, I was there. So Srila Prabhupada is talking to a few devotees. Satsvarup Maharaj is there. We're talking about exploitation by leaders. Srila Prabhupada says there cannot be exploitation if things are made in order, just like Kshatriya should be trained up as Kshatriya. Then he is king. Not that a Bungi, by vote, becomes a king. This is education. Shoryam tejo dhritir dakshyam yudhe chap yapalayanam danam ishvara bhavascha shatram karma svabhavajam. He must be very powerful, very strong, strongly built. You have seen the picture. Ramachandra, sturdy body. You see, Lakshmana, because Kshatriya, they should be trained up as Kshatriya. Therefore, the Varnashrama college is required to train people who are able to become a Brahmana, who is able to become a Kshatriya, who is able to become, in this way, division must be there. And according to the quality at work, there must be division for cooperation. There was a big scheme. We have lost it. They do not know. All Bungis, Chamara, Shudras, they are simply given vote. That's all. Where is the training? Srila Prabhupada says, everyone is Shudra. Nobody's Brahmana. Satsvarup Maharaj says, Lord Chaitanya, when Ramananda Roy brought this up, he said it was not possible in this age to introduce this. Srila Prabhupada said, yes, he did not say possible. Eho Bhaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was interested only on the spiritual platform. He had no idea of material side. He rejected material side. Satsvarup Maharaj says, but don't we do that also? Srila Prabhupada says, no, our position is different. We are trying to implement Krishna consciousness in everything. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally took sannyas. He rejected completely material, niskinchana. But we are not going to be niskinchana. We are trying to cement the troubled position of the, that is also in the prescription of Bhagavad Gita. We are not rejecting the whole society. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected everything. Iha bhaya. Rejected meaning, I do not take much interest in this. Bhaya, it is external. He was simply interested in the internal, the spiritual. Because our duty is that we shall arrange the external affairs all so nicely that one day they will come to the spiritual platform very easily, paving the way. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personality like that, they have nothing to do with this material world. But we are preaching. Therefore, we must pave the situation in such a way that gradually they will be promoted to the spiritual plane. It is not required. Satsvarup Maharaj says, Varnashram is not required. Srila Prabhupada says, not required. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu denied, I am not Brahmana, I am not Kshatriya, I am not this, I am not that. He rejected. But in the Bhagavad Gita, the Chaturvarnyam Maya Shrishtam, from the fourth chapter, text 13, according to the three modes of material nature and the work ascribed to them, the four divisions of human society were created by me. And although I am the creator of this system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. Srila Prabhupada says, so we are preaching Krishna consciousness. It must be done. What else have we got here? Just about out of time. I'll just read a few little bits here. Srila Prabhupada says, therefore, Varnashram Dharma is required. Simply show bottle will not do. So the Varnashram Dharma should be introduced all over the world. He mentioned Bhaktivinoda Thakur's interest in introducing this to help people. All right, 8 o'clock.
All right, thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radha. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Vidu Jaya Prabhupada, Keva Pas, Jaya